Alright, so today we are going to be drawing Mr. Burns. Now, believe it or not, Mr. Burns, I think it's one of my hardest characters to draw because it's his nose placement that's always been weird for me, but we'll try it out and see how well we do. And with Mr. Burns, it's a little bit different. I start with the top of the forehead here, you know, top of the head. So he's a little bit challenging, so hopefully I can get this. You know, it's always hard trying to remember what characters you're drawing, but the more you do it, the better you get. So this is kind of the this is gonna lead right into his eye socket. And if you think, he's got kind of a round head right here, so you have to think, okay, round head, and you just have to visualize it a little bit. And he's always got that angry kind of mean and cocky look. He's one of the best characters, I'd say. You know, just his character alone really makes The Simpsons worthwhile because, you know, there's always that boss who doesn't remember your name, and there's lots of them out there. And then for his eyes, I always do eyes like this, kind of a half circle. Just like this. And then his nose, I'm just trying to figure out where should I place his nose, his other eye. I just kind of trace it out, give it kind of at least a placement. And then we got to do his nose. Okay, so his nose kind of somewhat outlines against his little eyebrow here that comes out, so I'm just gonna try to do that. Comes out a bit, the bridge of his eyebrow, come down. So right when you get to about right here, you want to start curving down. He's got kind of a curving nose, and you want to come back up kind of at a point. Not too much curve, but just enough. And then right here you got the end of his nose, and just kind of come upward. So Mr. Burns is very tough. I know a lot of people won't get it the first time, but you just have to do it once you get kind of familiar with kind of the way The Simpsons is set up. You'll be really familiar with kind of the art style. So we start with the forehead, went down, gave him this little crease here for the eyes. Here's his nose. He's got a little bit of an eye socket here. He's kind of got that Cro-Magnon look there. Now his eyes, his beady eyes, is probably going to be right here on the top. Just like that. And I always like darken my eyes once I make them. Kind of gives it a little bit of a life. So if you can get that far, you're pretty good. Then here's his top lip. And Mr. Burns has always got that weird grin. So I'm going to kind of look at it down this way. So I always kind of pre-trace a little bit of my line. And I'll go ahead and come down this way. And then as I begin to pre-trace it and I see what I like, I go ahead and start giving it a few more strokes so that way it gets darker. It's got that nice kind of menacing grin. Oops, kind of messed up a little bit, but it's alright. Like I said, you gotta have fun when you draw. You're gonna make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes are kind of like giving character to your drawing. And this is kind of the top of his head. He's got weird hair, kind of like the male pattern baldness. Okay, so I got his eyes, I got his mouth here. I'm gonna give him some teeth. Okay, if you're following along, you just kind of You might have issues with the nose. I know that's always the most difficult part, because you have to make sure you kind of lined that up right there. So I'm just gonna try to draw his teeth, and that's not too bad. Get to the end of his mouth. Okay. Mr. Burns usually has kind of a wrinkle here underneath his eye. Okay, I think we're looking okay. Got his bottom lip here. And you gotta think, Mr. Bird, he kind of looks like, I'm sorry, Mr. Burns, he kind of looks like a bird. So think ostrich, you know, he's got that weird long, elongated neck. So I'm just gonna do his bottom lip here and come down just like this. Kind of like a bird, like a vulture. Give him a neck here. Okay. And I know right around this area here is kind of where you want to go from the bottom of the ear. So we're going, once again, his ear should be somewhere right here. I'm going to do the backward C somewhere right here. That's how I usually do the Simpson ears. I've got this backward C. Okay, so I got the bottom of his neck. It comes down, usually in this mouth area. You want to go here and then start curving it outwards. Just like this. He's got a really skinny neck. Okay. So think vulture, long neck. Just like that. And he's always got kind of a tie on. So let me just start with the tie here. He's got like a little polo shirt or inside white collared shirt. Got a little tie on, I believe. Okay. And here's the back of his. He usually kind of wears a coat, I believe, a little coat. So that would be his necktie right here. Inside polo. Okay. Let's get back to it. Now for his hair. So we're almost done. We just have to finish up the hair. Mr. Burns has Mr. Sideburns. So you have to go down this way, come up. It's kind of like a rectangle, but it's got a little curve right here. So a little bit of a curve, give it a little nuance. Comes down here. A little bit of a curve, straight. And I always go back because I'm looking at stuff and I'm always trying to redefine my lines. And then for his hair kind of, you know, like I said, think male pattern baldness. He's kind of, I would say right around here. I don't know, I just kind of eyeball a lot of stuff that I draw. And so this would be his hair. And he's got these weird old looking warts or something. I'm not sure what it is, but you know, I think he's got 3 of them. Just like that. And then we just have to separate his hair. So we got one here. Got a line right here. Another line right here. And then one more. And there you have it. That's Mr. Burns. Homer's boss. And he's actually one of the harder characters to draw, so I know if you're trying it for the first time, you're gonna struggle a little bit. So he takes a lot of practice. So just to kind of sum it up, we start with the forehead. Did the eyes, like beady eyes here. Put the eyes in, nose, mouth with the teeth, bottom lip, long neck, backward C for the ears. I did his bottom of his suit here, kind of a collared shirt, coat. Then we put in the hair last, and I gave him the 3 dots here on his head. So that's what we have. That's Mr. Burns. Alright, join me next time as I do my Simpson doodles. And don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. I appreciate it. Thanks.